Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in today. It is ModelcarNick here once again, and I have a whole lot of SF90s to show you guys around today. We're going to be doing a little bit of unboxing. I just picked up this brand new Ferrari SF90 XX, and then we have a SF90 Assetto Fiorano package, a new colorway just for the regular SF90, and then just your standard SF90 in Rosso Corsa. So one model that I am missing today is the convertible version of this car. And I know there's a few different colorways out there, but these are the kind of the main ones that I thought I'd show you kind of a comprehensive review about all of them at the same time. So let's go ahead and unbox these and let's get into it. All right, so now that we got them all out of the box, I just kind of wanted to show you kind of the differences between each of these models, as they are all different besides the coupe of just the regular SF90 and this one. These are pretty much identical cars. This is just in a little bit different specs. So, all these, for the most part, at least on this side, aside from this one, are new releases for 2025. I just picked up these this weekend at Sam's Club. You can get any one of these for about $20. Really epic models, so I highly recommend you go out and try to find one of these for yourself if you can. So let's just take a look at kind of the specs of this one. So this is kind of your base Rosso Corsa, black wheels, black interior, pretty standard car. This one is a brand new release for Maisto. Originally, these were Burago cars, so it's cool to see these at Sam's Club now. Instead of paying the $70 markup that Burago charges for their cars, you can pay $20 and get the SF90 XX, which is a super special car. This car is finished in a little bit different color than Rosso Corsa. I know it's a little bit harder to tell, but this one comes off a little bit more orangey than red, so a little bit different spec, but it looks absolutely lovely. This car as well, it's not as dark as Rosso Corsa. It's a little bit lighter than it, but not as orangey as this car, but still looks pretty cool. And this is the Assetto Fiorano package, so you'll notice kind of the main difference between this car is it has a little bit of a lip spoiler, while on the standard car it does not. So a little bit of a difference there, but unique car, so I thought I'd pick it up. Really cool as well. And then we have another regular SF90, not a Assetto Fiorano package, but it does have a cool little livery coming down it in a unique color. So I thought it'd be cool to show you guys this model as well. So as you can see, it's finished in kind of this really loud green color as well. Black wheels, pretty standard. So we won't spend too much time on that car. But yeah. I think what everyone really came to see are probably these two particular models from Maisto. So we'll take a look up front, starting off kind of the differences you'll note between the regular SF90 and the XX. So right here up at the front, you'll notice right away there's a little bit of a, I'm not exactly too sure what that is. Maybe it's a parking sensor, maybe it's not, but you'll notice on the other car, it does not have that. It's a little bit more aggressively styled. As you can see, there is some air intakes coming through the side right under the headlight, while the standard car does not have that as well. Headlights across all these models are the same, so nothing to worry about there. And they're all graced on the front with the prancing horse Ferrari logo right there. What's unique about this car is it has kind of this extended carbon fiber splitter. As you can see, looks nice and glossy. It still has that textured material right here, but I will say that it's a little bit, not as textured as previous Maisto releases. It looks a little bit more glossy, so epic job by Maisto up there with this car. So another thing to note kind of on the Assetto Fiorano package, not really too much difference from the Assetto Fiorano in the standard SF90, but you do get a little bit more kind of a color scheme going right here. This is kind of like the 50 years anniversary. Not too sure what the 50s for, but it's a little bit more of a special car, I guess. So on the standard cars, you kind of get this little kind of half extended splitter that comes to the front, also finished in carbon fiber, but you'll notice it's kind of a little bit more textured looking than on the SF90 XX, where you get a little bit more gloss on this car over the kind of standard SF90s. But the front end on this car, as you can see, it also has this little air intake finished in carbon fiber, and they all kind of have these fake mesh grills sitting across the front, while the XX mesh grills right here are just a little bit bigger, and they look actually really good with the details. As you can see, nice textured mesh grills, while these just look a little bit more cheap and plasticky, and maybe that's just the lighting in this room, but this just looks a little bit more fine to me. So really cool looking front ends. You'll notice kind of they all have similar hood designs aside from the XX, where you get this kind of hood kind of scoop thing right here that goes down. It's finished in just kind of a matte black plastic, and there's mesh grills inside of there, but two more kind of air intakes down right up here in the front. So really interesting design. You'll notice the differences between the regular SF90s, where they kind of just have this U shape design right here. Looks pretty cool. It's pretty standard across all the cars, so nothing really too different between the rest of the models besides the XX. So we'll keep moving forward. We'll take a look at the sides of the cars. So, you know, on the regular model right here, you'll notice kind of a smooth body design right there, while on the XX you have kind of some air vents right here, right over the wheels. Those are just kind of black plastic or black finished right over the fender, so nothing really too crazy there. But it does look like, you know, just a nice little touch of detail over the standard cars. Really cool to note. All these cars do have kind of this gloss black hood. I think on the real car, you're able to get these in body color, but I think it's a nice little split from the regular car that you do get these gloss black kind of rooftops. So you see that. We'll keep looking at the wheels now. And across all of these cars, they have the same wheel design. Nothing special across any of these. They all are identical wheel designs, so you're not missing out on anything with the wheels. But you will notice that all of the standard SF90 cars, including the Assetto Fiorano package, have you know, black brake calipers, while the XX has these nice yellow brake calipers with the Ferrari script written down the side. I really do like this wheel design just because, you know, you can see kind of the aero components kind of on the top sides of the wheel disc right there, but they're all 5-spoke wheels with the prancing horse in the center. And it looks like the SF90 XX have some nice drilled rotors right there and kind of a, you know, more glossy looking material. And we'll see that the regular, well, I guess on the regular SF90, it's about the same, but you're missing the Ferrari script on the brake calipers. So a little bit of a difference there. Obviously, you're getting a bit more detail on the SF90 XX. So, you know, bravo to Maisto for doing something special on this car. The mirrors are pretty much all identical, just aside from body color, but they do have like a two-tone split right there. You know, gloss black on the bottom, body color on the top, and you'll notice they're all the same across all the cars, so pretty standard mirror designs. They all also have the Scuderia shield across the side of the model, of course. That's standard for pretty much all Ferraris besides the Roma these days, where the Scuderia shield is an optional extra. So now we kind of covered the front. You'll notice kind of the windshield wipers too. They're also a little bit all the same. I think the SF90 XX, I don't know, it just, like, maybe it's the same. I don't know why it looks, I guess it's identical, so I'm wasting your time on that. But besides that, we'll take a look at the side of the model. I think one big thing you'll notice from the XX and the regular cars are kind of the side skirt, while the side skirt on this car, you know, is in carbon fiber, as you can see. Actually, it's not, forgive me, it's just gloss kind of plastic. On the XX car, though, it has this extended splitter finished in carbon fiber. It looks really nice, and I like the little poke out kind of on this rear section. The SF90 Assetto Fiorano package also doesn't really have anything special going for it on the side. Also finished kind of in this black plastic, no carbon fiber dimension over there, so nothing really too crazy going on the side of these models aside from the XX. Now we'll take a look at these kind of rear air intakes, and I'll show you the differences. So right up here, we kind of have, you know, carbon fiber air intake. Looks really nice and clean. I'm not really seeing too much of a difference on the XX, except you get this little upper portion right here that covers it. Also finished in this lovely kind of gloss carbon fiber. Still with a little bit of texture, but nice detail, little extra on the XX over the regular car. So now that we've kind of taken a look at the whole side of the model, nothing really too much else different between these cars. We can take a look at the rears, so give me a second to flip all these over. Okay, so now we're looking at all the rears of the cars. You'll notice they all pretty much look identical aside from the XX, obviously, but the Assetto Fiorano package, pretty standard looking compared to all the other cars, with the exception of this little lip spoiler, which you don't get on the regular cars. So that is one different to note there. We'll take a look at the rear of the SF90 XX because it is obviously the most different. So exhausts are pretty much mounted in the same place, but this is just a little bit more ventilated. As you can see, the mesh grills kind of run across this whole rear side of the car. Looks really epic. Massive diffuser as well. It looks like it is just finished kind of in this matte black plastic. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's carbon fiber, but it's kind of hard to see because it's not as glossy as the rest of the car, carbon fiber wise. More air intakes on the side of the car. It looks really cool. And then the rear tail light kind of is a light strip. And as you can see, it kind of has this white finish to it. And then kind of a unique thing to note, you can see there's kind of a little air channel that flows through the rear of the car, and you get this little hollow pass. So it looks really cool. All these cars do have black exhaust tips, as you can see, kind of these dual exhaust tips on each side. These poke out just a little bit more, of course, you know, because this is a race car, as they want to say. But yeah, pretty cool. One thing I forgot to mention between all these cars is obviously the SF90 XX has 3 more little air louvers on the rear arches right there, as the regular cars do not, as you can see. So kind of interesting design. And then one thing that this car does have over the SF90 XX is it has these 2 little kind of cutaways on the side of the car, and you'll notice that this one does not. So, you know, slight differences, obviously. This one being a little bit more crazy, but the rest of the car is pretty standard across the rear end. Ferrari badges written across the top of each model. This one's just a little bit more forward, which is kind of interesting. But you can see Ferrari badges on the rear of each car. One thing that's also different is obviously the rear spoiler on the XX. It looks like it's finished in carbon fiber, as you can see, nice and glossy, and you do kind of have these little holes, you know, that are sitting on the risers. So really good looking design. As you can see, the SF90 definitely stands out in the back compared to the regular SF90s. But yeah, the regular SF90 has a pretty cool looking diffuser. As you can see, there's a lot of fins down there, some mesh as well. But, you know, really sleek looking design. You have a kind of a dual headlight or dual tail lights on each side of the car. Maybe it's a little bit harder to tell on the red cars, but you can see they stand out pretty well on the green one with a center brake light right there at the top. So now let me go ahead and open up all these engine bays, and we'll take a look and see if there's any differences between these models. All right, so now that each engine bay is opened up, we can kind of take a look at the differences between each model. First thing I've noticed is the hinges that are holding up the rear deck lid. They're all pretty much identical. Pretty huge hinges, and it's kind of noticeable when you're displaying this model with the engine up. And then you'll notice that they all kind of have the same rear deck lid with the glass through it, with the exception of the XX. It kind of has some more air vents sitting at the top. And then the regular SF90 XX has a little window that kind of pokes down through this little channel. But the engine bay itself, as you can see, a lot of carbon fiber back there. And then you have the V8 engine that sits pretty down deep in this car. This car is obviously a hybrid, so you get a gas cap and then the charging cap on the other side of this model. And as you can see, the headers of this car finished kind of in this gloss red and with the Ferrari script written across the engine block. Looks really cool. A little bit of detail to see back there, so really nice looking engine bay. One thing I did notice between the regular car and the SF90 XX is you lose the red kind of engine cover on the XX, but besides that, everything is pretty much identical aside from this little silver kind of maybe oil cap sitting right there with the Ferrari logo, and then a Ferrari badge kind of in the center of the engine cover right there. So really cool looking design, still a lot of carbon fiber, and then you get these louvers right here as opposed to the regular car that has kind of the vent system right there. But pretty much identical engine bay, maybe more or less with the colors in the regular one, but you do get some a little bit more kind of silver details with those 2 features right there. So we'll go ahead and close all these up and then take a look at the interiors. Okay, so now that I got all these doors open, I'm really just going to show you kind of the regular XX and the SF90 XX. I said that backwards, you know, the regular one and the XX. But yeah, The real main difference you'll note on the XX compared to the regular car is the seats. So this kind of has more of an aggressive bucket seat design with a 4-point harness, all kind of in this really cheap looking plastic material. I wish they would have done this in color. It would have made this model pop a little bit more. But as you can see, all the buttons kind of on the steering wheel. You get this nice little silver bit in the center console right up there. It looks pretty good. It's kind of hard to see because the doors don't open that wide on these models, unfortunately. Same with this car. So you'll take a look at the seats. Pretty standard looking seats, not as aggressive as the XX, obviously, but the dashboard and everything like that are basically identical. We'll see if the doors are any different. I would assume they might be. It's really hard to tell. So a lot of carbon fiber on the door, kind of in the same kind of glossy textured carbon fiber. And on the regular car, looks like it's just plastic, no real carbon fiber dimension on there. And then you'll notice on the XX that the doors are a little bit more flat, not as much storage, I guess, on the XX as compared to the regular car. But no real differences really in the interior to mention aside from the seats. But here's another view. Just super plasticky, but I think they did a pretty good job showing all the little buttons. You can see all those little white specks. I promise it looks a little bit better in person, but it's hard to tell over video. So yeah, that's kind of the interior of this model. Now I'll go with my overall opinions on these cars. So, you know, I really think this is a lot of repetitiveness in my collection. So 4 SF90s. I'm obviously going to keep a few of these, and when I say a few of these, I mean pretty much all of them. I might sell off the green one just because it is a little bit crazy looking, but I thought I'd pick it up just because it is a new release. And I do like the little pinstripe accent across the model that's kind of finished in this matte black right here, which kind of contrasts with the roof, which is a little bit interesting, but you can see it follows through right up there. And one more thing I want to point out about the livery on the SF90 Assetto Fiorano package is the livery. As you can see, there's 50s all over the design, and you get these kind of crazy yellow stripes. It looks like a McDonald's spec, to be honest. Maybe this is 50 years of McDonald's, and they're joining the Challenge Racing series, but probably not. One more thing to note, it does have a little tricolore flag right up here on the front, so kind of weird that there's a little tricolore and you don't see it anywhere else on this model. So whatever, not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, for 20 bucks for each one of these, I think you can't go wrong picking any of these. I would personally go after an SF90 XX just because how special this car looks. I mean, it looks so much crazier than the standard SF90, as you can see, a lot, you know, of a bit more outrageous design. And the first XX road car, the XX designation is mostly meant for track cars in the Ferrari lineup, so this was the first XX road car. We'll see if they end up making more of these road car production XX models down the road. So yeah, that's kind of my, you know, preference right here, the XX. I'm probably going to keep all of these besides the green one, like I said. But yeah, overall though, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with these models. I think, you know, if you really want one, I would definitely recommend adding it to your collection. You can't go wrong with any of these specs. And, you know, if I had to rate each one of these, you know, SF90 standard version probably deserves a solid 6.5 out of 10. You know, this is a relatively budget-friendly model, so, you know, you don't get kind of those higher quality details that you'll see on an auto art or a BBR or anything like that, which is perfectly fine. But I have to kind of, you know, compare these to all the models on the market. So, you know, 6 out of 10 I'd give it. And then I'm going to give the SF90 XX a 6.5 out of 10, just because, you know, really crazy looking car. And I like how these are a lot cheaper than the Briago versions, and the carbon fiber that they do on these is absolutely incredible. A lot of an upgrade compared to the kind of the standard, you know, Maistos out there. What sets these models back is kind of the fake mesh grills, lack of windows, and then, you know, kind of the interior details aren't really on par with the top of the line models out there. So that's kind of why these models sit on the lower end of the spectrum. But, you know, I still collect these. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a few Maistos in the collection. They're totally affordable, and you know, nice little additions to your collection if you're interested in them. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know this is a little bit longer of a review, but this is the ultimate Ferrari XX review out there. So let me know which one's your favorite in the comments below, and let me know if you're going to pick one up. But if you made it this far, I think you got to like, you got to subscribe, and I appreciate y'all's support, and I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy. Bye.